Hello, everybody. Just to let everyone know, those of you that already saw this, YouTube cut it because of some of the language that was in the text that I showed from Doug's live stream. So, without further ado, I'm just re-uploading my last video with a little bit of editing out. Is the best way that I know to describe it. What I'll be doing is you'll see and hear the beginning of my video. Basically, what I was doing, well, I'm just going to skip all the beginning I did. Forget about it. I explained that we got a foot of snow, 2.5 inches of ice. Somebody ran their plow, trying to scrape a road over the main hub for Spectrum's Wi-Fi for this road and 2 other connecting roads. Our Wi-Fi is spotty, if at all. We've received automated calls telling us they're going to prorate everyone affected by this outage, blah, 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 standard stuff. So I'm finding ways around it. Hopefully by tomorrow, I'll have some type of internet available to use that I can do a live stream. We may be getting a hotspot from them. I'm waiting on a call back. So just keep your fingers crossed. And what I'm going to do is fast forward into this video to show y'all the couple important messages and go past the content that YouTube basically banned my video for. So I think, yeah, okay. All right. So I've got it paused to a point now that Doug will get his credit. You'll be able to see him on the screen, and that his video is where that came from. And that I've just edited out what basically YouTube wouldn't allow me to show. Okay. So I'm just going to share my screen and click on over from here on out.
Emma, Crime Stories Obsessed, I sent these too. Don really needed to get a hold of me again in the past, and I never got back to him. This is No Thanks Investigates, and I'll catch you on the flip side. It's so funny. After I showed these in October when I received these from Don Wells in the text string,
I wanted everybody to look at those. And I slowed them down and paused it. And you can pause it, of course, while it's on your TV or computer or phone, wherever you're watching it. I wanted everybody to read those. Those are messages and screenshots that Dawn sent to Doug. One, to me personally, that's the real Dawn. I don't doubt it for an instant that is 150,000% the real Dawn. And those are actual screenshots from what looks to be Facebook Messenger. The little black round circle with Bart Simpson head in it is H, the minor. The blue in that message, the other writing, is Candace, allegedly, because I don't see her circle. So it had to be her Facebook Messenger that those pictures came from. Is what I'm thinking. Is why that you don't see her circle. Because when I'm chatting with somebody on my Facebook Messenger, I see their head and their circle and their avatar or photo or whatever you want to call it. That's crazy. At the very least, when I say since early on, I have been saying several things about this case, and one of which is that Dawn has been throwing Candace all the way under the bus. At first, it was little slick shade, and little oops, I didn't mean to do that and say that type thing. But then, as it's progressed, it's gotten to where I got 7 alibis and StarTAC on my side. To me, that's all the way throwing her up under the bus. I don't know what y'all think. But to me, that's what it is. Now, let's see. I think I'm actually going to start at what I ended with in my notes. Well, I'm trying to decide if I want to give my most recent thoughts on stuff. We'll just start at the beginning, how I wrote it. These are notes that I've wrote to myself for this video discussion. And then I've also wrote notes to myself on what I feel have been questions in my mind about this case since day one. And please, 1,000%, anybody that can help me with those questions and like mark them out and draw a line through them, I'm down for that. I really wanted to do this in a live stream, but our data is so unstable right now. Literally, this is my second time recording this because it keeps even kicking me out of the recording stream. It's just been that bad. So anyway, recently, so Mary told Doug on No Thanks that Dawn told his dad that he does not trust Candace and thinks that she put Summer in a septic tank. Now let's discuss this for just an instant. Just an instant. Number one, Mary told Doug that Dawn told his dad. How many degrees of hearsay do we have in that sentence, first of all? I mean, that's just insane amount of hearsay, I don't know, cleaning my glasses, you guys. I don't know how much more hearsay tree you want to draw, So obviously, number one, that's in no way admissible in a court of law. Number two, Dawn's dad allegedly has Alzheimer's. So we don't even know. We have no clue what that's in relation to. Dawn could have said people's accusing Candace of putting Summer in a septic tank, and it came out that way. And my question is, why did it take Mary 4 months to report it, not just to us, but to TBIs as well? I'm assuming TBI is going to ask that question. I mean, because the instant that you, in my opinion, you know about this case and you were worried about it. That's why y'all came forward with your story. Well, the instant something like that would have been said, whether I thought it was true or false or Daddy was having hallucinations, wouldn't have mattered to me. I would have reported it and let the police sort it out. That's just my personal opinion, though. It just isn't. It's not, Mary. It's not a good look for you to just now told. I hope that you're just now remembering to tell Doug, but that you told TBI about it right after it happened. That's my, or your local law enforcement. That's where my brain's going to go. And a lot of people have speculated about this septic tank. And let me say this. If it's a normal septic tank, unless there was like a backhoe or some type of large digging equipment that the wells had access to, or people on Ben Hill that you know of had access to on the 3 days before, from somewhere near between the 10th and the 15th, up in that area, I don't see it. And furthermore, honestly, I do believe if there was land that looked recently dug up anywhere on that area where the septic tank would be, I think law enforcement would have been all over it, especially by now. A lot of, if it's a traditional septic tank, it's a large concrete structure underneath the ground, and it's large. Like, we're talking almost the size, depending on the size. I mean, they're the one they put in our front is in our front yard because the way our land is made. See, it all has to do with ordinances and regulations by county and city where it's located on your property and what size its minimum and maximums and whatnot are. But bottom line is it's a large concrete structure, like the bottom and your four sides, and then your top is like concrete casings. That's why it's so expensive to get your septic cleaned out. You have to have, like, the people basically that made it and put it in is who has to come out and service it. They got a hose and stuff. But I digress. My point is to be able to, I don't understand how someone would have been a traditional septic tank. There's not an opening large enough to be able to put a person into, in my personal opinion. And there would have had to have been a lot of excavation work done recently. Now, did they just recently dig the septic tank or something right around that time? Or have work done on it, or have septic people out there, and that's why this is a thought? Now, in that case, absolutely. But just no. Otherwise, I just don't see that. Is it a non-traditional type of septic system that doesn't have a traditional septic tank cover that someone is speaking of, or a small well that they're speaking of? Those cases, maybe. I know my grandparents had a well that had a concrete lid on it. It was an old-fashioned type of concrete that you don't see anymore. You can see the little pebbles, like the little stones in it, little rocks. We played on it all the time. It was a large square, and then it was a round thing on top. We used the round part to sit on all the time, or would sit on the flat part and use the round part like as a picnic table, when we were out there playing with our mud pies. I know at least 4 at one time children could not move that because we were actually trying to pick it up and move the round circle. That was the lid. 4 of us around the ages of 10 to 13 couldn't budge that thing. So I don't see that as a possibility, especially, we have a large timeline gap, but between drive times back and forth for people to get where they needed to be and back to vehicles and cell phones and such, you've got to figure that they probably had less than an hour for actual disposal, if the 15th timeline is correct. As I've said from day one, I don't believe the 15th. I just don't, I think it was a prior day, and everything on the 15th was to establish an alibi. That's my personal thought still. Okay, the next thing I wrote down is that Dudley says that according to the boys, that Dawn took summer off on either the 14th or the 13th of June. That one of the boys said, I'm assuming that Dawn brought them to work, and Dudley heard one of the boys, or one of the boys was telling him something. I don't know exactly. I didn't catch all the interview. I caught bits and pieces, and I'm going to go back and rewatch it. But my understanding is that one of the boys said something about their daddy carrying Summer off and not bringing her back on either the 13th or the 14th, and that she wasn't awake. And that previously he has said that something about finding Dawn in the bathtub, and that him being a hot mess on the 14th of June, the day that he got fired, because he doesn't really know why, but he was distraught, and that he wasn't messed up on drugs. He was sober, but that he was like he lost his best friend. Now, a couple thoughts I want to go over right here, though. We've had the advent of Dudley and his wife, and we've had Fred Hill and his wife, and Jody Sue and her boyfriend, and all these new people that are coming out, speaking out, we're hearing from. We all have to remember that to us, this is new information. To us, what these people have to say is new stuff. It's not new to TBI, you guys. It's not new to Hawkins County. It's not new to Ronnie Lawson. It's not new to that sheriff's deputy from Kingsport or from Hawkins County. It's not new to them. It's not new to that TBI officer that's on this case. That's what we all need to remember. And why do I say that? Well, because to us, we get caught up for a minute and we're like, oh, this is new. We got to investigate. And while investigating, we have to keep in mind that everything we are looking into right now, that more than likely they looked into 6 months ago, 5 months ago. At least they should have, if they were told the way these people were telling us that they told them. There's no reason that it would be new to them. It's just new to us. And I feel like the longer that this case goes on without being solved, the more people we're going to see come forward for their 15 minutes of fame or payback to somebody else or whatever it is. Why? One, it's just human nature. Two, look at the distractions in this case. There's certain things they do not want us to look at, you guys. And they're going to do everything in their power to stop us from looking at those things. That's my personal opinion. But I firmly believe that a lot of stuff is purposeful distraction. And it's not going to stop. Now, let's talk about Fred Hill. Number one, we know he does not like Dawn and Candace. Dawn especially. He don't like him. And if he did like him, he wasn't going to like him after Summer went missing, because Dawn practically said that he was the doper of the hill to the world. I wouldn't like him neither if I was Fred. I mean, for real, y'all. We have to remember who Fred Hill is in perspective. Fred Hill is the grandson of Ben Hill, or the great-grandson of Ben Hill, that the road's named after. So keep that in mind. That don't necessarily mean he's good, but that makes him well-known. Is he well-known because he's good, or is he well-known because he's notorious? I don't know. But the next question could answer. He does have a record of killing someone in self-defense. Remember that. And I'm not down in self-defense. Y'all not gonna hear me do that, because we all never know what kind of position that we may be put in life and how we're going to act or react in that position. So, now I'm going to say this. Fred's from this area, just like me, and my family are from this area. And that area, and because people are known to, grow crops, have their own little gardens, corn, vegetables, such, that's anything that they can grow, they don't necessarily got to worry about buying, maters, beans, corn, taters. We grew all that shit. Cabbage, we grow it. Why? Because we can. And if we can grow it cheaper than we can buy it, and you can it and keep it, that's what we do. That's how we were raised. You live in the country, that's country. That being said, most people hunt squirrel, coon, deer, turkey. You don't hear a lot of bird hunting, because you don't eat a lot of bird. People hunt bear, and let me tell y'all something. Some bear meat, some good old barbecue meat right there. You don't believe it? Try it. That's some of the best barbecue ever, with some slow pit cooked bear meat. Here in this area, the Appalachian Mountain, the Smoky Mountains, whatever you want to call them, I'm on the opposite side of the dragon, as we refer to it, other side of the hill. One thing we all talked about, people that talk to me that live in Churchill, that live in Bulls Gap, that live in Kingsport, that live in Bluntville, that live right across the Virginia line, we've all discussed it. We all have in common that if we don't do it ourselves, our daddy or our granddaddy, our uncle, somebody was an avid hunter. That part, the reason I am adamant with that and speaking about Fred Hill, is we're going to go back to the little Ziggy Bones. People come at me because I said she might not have known better, and because if she didn't grow up that way, and she grew up in the city or suburbia, she don't know. But Fred knows. Let me tell y'all, Fred knows. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Fred knows. Fred knew that those were animal bones. And no, I'm not stating that it was planned for Ziggy specifically. Because if it was just random that they ran into each other and talked, then it wasn't necessarily planned from her. Now, if they had a prearranged meeting, then yeah, it was planned for her. But I'm going under the hypothesis that it was just Ziggy got the luck of the draw, unfortunately, for her. And I say that because, look, y'all, all these YouTubers been running around that hill. We done seen this one man come out and tell them, Molly and him to cut it out. His grandma's about to have a heart attack, and all the noise is bothering her. So, y'all know, just like we've discussed, it's a small town area. If somebody is a half a mile from that hill, or probably in Kingsport, that's not normally in the area or out of town, or a foreigner, as was said to me when my last trip to Tennessee and we were discussing certain things, I promise y'all, phones have rung, and it's known. Before they can get there and drive there and ask a question, I bet you they know that they're coming. And if you don't believe that, maybe you should just talk to some people and ask. You'll find out. I'm not cray-cray on this one. They know they were coming. They know the YouTubers. They've been up there protesting at Don's work and got him fired. They've been at their house. They've heard them and know that they've been out there and were there in town and in the area. Ziggy just happened to be the lucky one. If it hadn't been her, it would have been Molly or Betty or whoever, or Sally Sue. It just happened that she's the one that come up. I don't know who all was in on it, but they knew the instant that they saw them bones that it wasn't no person. I knew no more than I've been hunting and doing. I knew just from growing up, playing in the woods and seeing dead squirrel bones, raccoon bones, cat bones, dog bones, deer bones. I knew they didn't belong to a human being. And I know that Fred knew. How can I say that? Well, he's got to have more experience, or just as much, at least, as I do. And I know if I know that he knew, you can't tell me that he didn't. And anybody that screw up country like I have can tell you that I'm not crazy, and I'm not even being accusatory or mean. I personally think that it was a little prank to get back at the YouTubers for disturbing them and to make fun of them. It was to make fun of them. The joke's on you. You got had. Us hillbillies, hicks, are smarter than y'all. We got over on you. Remember that, because see, that's honestly what I think was going on. I don't think it was personal to Ziggy. Insert any YouTuber, and it would have been the same thing. In the interview with Fred and his wife that they gave, there was quite a few lies, okay? In my personal opinion. We know that Rose Bly did not live on that land. And how in the Hades did Candace go to a hospital and give birth to not one but 2 kids after summer, and Don didn't know about it? And he lived in that house with her for 9 months, day in and day out, for both of them pregnancies. But Fred Hill knew. Come on, let's all think logically on that one. That's all I'm going to even say about that. And now y'all remember that both Fred and his wife did acknowledge that they have been watching this whole case play out on YouTube. So whether they watched it from day one or what, I don't know. But you don't got to be watching from day one to be able to hit the rewind and go watch something, or you can't just watch what was produced in the last 24 hours. It don't work like that. And then we go back to where Fred's saying that he saw Andy, Jody Sue's Andy, I think at 3:30 p.m. on the day that Summer went missing, and that Jody Sue's mother has a red truck. I'm trying to tell you, everybody gonna keep throwing shade at everybody, and it's gonna only get worse. I want y'all to understand. See, it's the same for Jody Sue. When Fred come forward, you got to look. The law was looking at the reliability of the individuals and their statements. If their statements go against everything that everybody else is saying, and they have a proven criminal record, how reliable is their statement? How reliable is their word? That's the questions that law enforcement has to ask themselves. And the district attorney, who's eventually going to be the one to approve any warrants for arrest. And at this point, without eyewitnesses, or without Starlink or the digital phone stuff showing something, or some kind of, just dead to rights proof, finding Summer or her remains, the only case that can be made is circumstantial. So it's got to be just overwhelmingly circumstantial evidence against whomever they're trying to build a case against. Um, and my question is, like I said, I guarantee you TBI and Hawkins County have spoken to all these people, probably very early on in this case. So why now? Why 7 months down the road are we hearing from them? Why did we not hear from these people 3-4 months ago? This is something I've been asking for a long time. Like when Brian Eaton and them came to town, where are the interviews with the townspeople? Where are the interviews with the neighbors? Why are we just now seeing those? What's the deal with that? Because that, say what y'all want, think what y'all want, but for some reason it just doesn't sit well with me. I don't know. Now, I have some thoughts about CPS, DSS, CPS, whatever y'all want to call them. I still do firmly believe that if the church people and townspeople made calls, and the school system made calls to CPS about the Wells and the Wells children, that then I can honestly say that CPS failed these kids. Now, the reason I say that is because I rewatched H's interview and uncut and unedited, which means that we had Allie and her friend that are no longer friends, the other woman that has the ties to the Hills. And what I found odd is you want to tell all these stories and about how mad you got and how pissed off it made you to see them boys on that concrete. Why the hell you didn't call 911? Why you didn't call DSS? Why did you wait till Chris McDonough's interviewing you and tell that, or tell TBI after this little girl is missing and can't be found? Where was that at? And that care and that thought and that telling on the day it happened? Personally, y'all would have been calling 911 because I'd have been beating her ass. We would have been fighting. And anybody that wanted to defend her would have been fighting with me. And anybody that don't like it can kiss my white ass. I don't care. Kiss every inch and draw you off an acre while you want to kiss. That's, to me, that's my question. Why are you talking shit now? Where was your shit talk that day? You can't say nothing because you were just as guilty and complicit as she is, because you sat there and watched and didn't open your mouth and you didn't do a thing. Oh, I took my toys home and went away. I took up the pool. Woo, big whooping deal. Did you tell everybody to leave your damn house? Did you tell her that that was not appropriate behavior and that it wasn't going to happen in front of you? Because unless you've done those things or picked up your phone and called and made a report, you can't say shit now. You didn't do nothing then. What, you just want to add your name to the list of people that failed these kids? Is that what you want, your name added to the list? To me, that don't make you look good. I'm sorry. Not sorry. It don't. And if y'all disagree with me, please feel free to let me know. I think, after speaking to some people I know that work for DSS Sorry, I don't know what happened. I hit a button and lost everything. After speaking to some DSS workers in my local area, I personally believe that Allie and Candace were making reports back and forth against each other. And it got to the point, maybe, that they had been arguing, and this one called on that one, and that one called on this one, back and forth so much to when the calls came in that DSS looked at it like, or CPS looked at it like, oh, here they go again with another call. They're fighting each other, kind of thing. And I know that sounds awful, and it's not an excuse or something, to give DSS people an out. I really think that might have been what was going on, though. I honestly do. I think that maybe they were making, cross-reference calls type thing. And let's see. Like retribution. Yeah, that's what I had wrote down. And just like the boys on the pavement, I use that as an issue because that was the big thing that was talked about. Even Allie seemed kind of hesitant at that table to talk about anything like that with the boys or Summer, even at that point. To me, it seemed she was more standoffish. The other lady was bringing it up, and she either co-signed or just kind of didn't speak until she was made to. And one thing that has come up, some allegations, something that was emailed to me, and maybe somebody can give me verification or proof or a name that I can check to see. Does Allie of Cam and Allie cracking cases, does her mother own a commercial property, either on or very near the meadows where Dawn was working that day? It's just a question I have. I personally would like the answer to be no, and me to be able to disprove it at this point. Now, this portion, what I want to talk about is, these are questions. These are my personal questions that I've had roaming in my head that I still have not gotten answers to since my first day watching a Summer video or looking into this case, since very day one, before I even started YouTube or had a channel, any of that. So I'm just going to ask them and give my thoughts on the question, if I have any, or where the question came from. The first one, let me see if I want to see if I wrote it in here. If I didn't, it's another question I need to ask. Yeah, okay, it is in here. Okay. So I just thought I had another question that I needed to add to my list real quick. Okay. So my first question, you guys, is who and why on this? Who gave the picture of Summer in the red dress with the long hair, like the Christmas picture? Who gave that picture to law enforcement to use? I think it was Robin, but I'm not sure. Who gave that picture of her at Christmas past, we'll say Christmas past, in the red dress with long hair to law enforcement to use as the picture of the missing girl? My reason is, who gave it and why did they pick that picture? Because we've established Candace was a picture taker, so she had plenty of pictures to give. Pictures with where Summer's hair would have been closer to the length. I mean, they could have even said, hey, we just took this picture of video on this camera on the way here, home today. That's a more accurate, closer picture. Or the TikTok video from the swimming hole earlier that day that was already posted online. A still shot, a screenshot from that to give. Why would you give a picture where her hair is somewhere between 5-6 inches long, whereas it's a half an inch long now? Why was a picture so far from what she looked like at the time she went missing given to police as the first picture given, and who gave that picture? That's just these are just my questions that I have not been able to answer yet. Why did the cops say, check the house again, even if they say that they already have? Why did they say that? And this was at least, I want to say it was either 7:02, 7:22, something like that, p.m. So the cops had been there for a minute. Why? Why did they say that? Is that standard practice for them to say that when they're talking about bringing search teams and stuff out to look for a little girl? Or, is that standard practice since some previous thing had occurred? Or was that out of the norm? I don't know. That's one of my questions. Why did dispatch report that the father said the mother went for a quick walk and couldn't find Summer after she returned home? A quick walk or run, I think's how they said it. Why did he say that? Because he knows Candace ain't never went for no quick walk or no quick run nowhere. Come on now. What was he meaning? Did Candace go on a quick run, and when she returned, Summer was gone? Is that really what he meant? And the quick run wasn't like a jog, but a jump in the car and a quick run to the store and back, or quick run to the drug dealer and back? I mean, for real. That's a question that's been in my mind. Why a lot of these pictures that are circulating that are allegedly Summer, why do several of them, like it's confirmed that the one in the red dress that was given is supposed to be Summer. It's confirmed that the one with the hair, the bow in her hair, the cloth bow headband in her hair with Robin is Summer. Why is it that other pictures that have been put out there as being Summer, that several of them, when checked with facial recognition software, don't match up? Just a question. Why? Yep, y'all hear my handy dandy notebook. Why on the day she went missing does dispatch report to the deputies, officers heading to the scene and on scene, that both the mother and the father reported the child as being 4 years old? I understand if one parent gets stressed out and makes a mistake, but how do both parents make the same mistake on the age of their child? Just a question. It's one of those things that makes you say, huh? Why, when we look back over Facebook and TikToks and Instagrams and such over the past, say, 18 to 24 months, why does it seem like the outward appearance of this entire family, parents as well as children, seems to have steadily declined over the past 18 to 24 months? What's behind that? What's going on? There seem, personally, grooming habits, the way they're dressed, the type of dress, just the health look even, seems to have gradually, over a period of 18 to 24 months, a gradual steady decline. And my question is why? Just why? At first, here's my next question. At first, when we're talking about Summer being missing, Dawn was working in Jonesboro, almost nearly an hour away. Then when we started getting hip and we started mapping it out with GPS where he was at, where the house was and time was and stuff, then it was like 40 minutes. And then it was 25 to 35 minutes. I think's where it's settled at. But we gradually have worked our way down from an hour away to 25 to 35 minutes. Why has their timeline changed? The distance that he would have to drive and the time it took him to drive. Why is there the change? Other than the fact that it wasn't correct in the beginning. And they realized that it wasn't correct, and that was easily proven that it wasn't real. So they had to adapt and change the story. Here's another question. Has anybody thought of or been able to look at the milk jugs that Summer is laying on and get the date off of it? Because let's be real, you guys, if the date's February 12th, it's obvious that that picture could not have been taken at the time we were told, or even April or May, because we're June. It was June, supposed to be June the June the 15th. So anything, it would have to be a date after. If you just bought it at the store, you're not going to buy a milk that expires on June the 15th. That's the expiration date we're going to see. So that the date should be 3 to 8 days ahead. So somewhere between the 8th, at least I would say the 18th of June on up. It's, again, personal opinion on dates that it should be, but it damn sure should not have a date before June the 15th because it was bought that day. And I want to, please in the comment section, let me know because I'm going to be checking. And if you know where that date is or where I can find it, please let me know. It's too distorted on any device I have when I zoom in on the picture. Okay. My next question that's bothered me since day one is when Chris interviewed Candace by the water, she said that her and Summer both had the same flavor of slushy at Sonic. Grape, which is purple. Any of y'all that's ever ate a slushy, and I like the grape and the cherry, that's my two favorite, you gonna know several things. No matter how neat you are with it, you gonna have discoloration for a minute in certain places. And then kids tend to stick their hands in it and play with it. It is what it is. It happens. She's 5. She's going to put her hand in the slushy if she can get a minute to. But at the very least, where was the discoloration? Where is the purple color on her mouth, her teeth, her lips, her tongue, her fang, anything? Where's that color? Could the color we see on her fingers be where she stuck her hand in the slushy? But if that's true, why wasn't it on her lips, her teeth, her tongue? Nowhere around her mouth do we see purple or bluish purple pallor. And I would expect that, having drunk a slushy. She didn't even spill it nowhere on that pink top either. And getting the slushy was one of the last things they did according to Candace's timeline. Just saying. Just a question. Now, maybe they had the slushy before they went to the water. And maybe, it washed off in the water. But if Summer didn't go under the water and never went under the water like Candace said, then she couldn't have washed it off. And furthermore, how did her hair get wet if she didn't go underwater? But that's just my thoughts. Big question here that really bothers me. Two things. If it's a double kind of question, if they didn't have plans to go swimming or fishing when Summer went that day to swim in the water, or the day before, if it's as I think, or even on the 13th, if there were no plans to go swimming or fishing, as she says, it was just a spur of the moment thing. If that's true, why would you put Summer's bathing suit on under her clothes? And if Summer's story, if H's story is true, then why would you have a bathing suit to put on under her clothes at H's house? You don't have a towel. You don't have a towel. You don't have a change of clothes. You don't have swimmies for her arms or a tube float. None of that in the back of the car. A hairbrush, none of that kind of stuff. You weren't prepared to go swimming. But you either put on the bathing suit before you left your house, if we listen to Candace's story, or you put it on at H and Allie's house when you got there, if you listen to H's story. My question is, you thought to have a bathing suit in the back of the car, but not a towel and not a change of clothes, because the reason you had the clothes you put on her in the car is because that's a special outfit you had bought for her to wear to school. And my next question is, why was she digging in the dirt, planting flowers, sitting in the kitchen playing, going downstairs playing, in that special outfit after you got home, after you was going to do laundry and everything else and did laundry or whatever? Why did she get gone still wearing that tracksuit? Because if that was her special outfit for school, and it was special to her as it was to y'all, wouldn't you have took it off of her just as soon as you got home and could put her in other clothes? Nobody thought about that, huh? It's just questions. If it don't make sense, we got to make sense out of it. And guys, these are just questions that I'm asking. So please answer and respond in the comments, because maybe you can answer them for me where I couldn't before. Now, one other question. I'm going to share my screen here again. I'm going to show this from Glitterazzi. And this is not to make fun of or be mean to nobody. And some of you guys might not agree with me. But this bothers me. And I'm going to say why. I'm not going to read comments. I'm just going to let y'all see. This is Glitterazzi. It says, Ziggy shows off her new puppy from Yucky's litter. Now, there's a couple things I want to say here. One, first of all, doesn't she have a cat? And how are they going to get along? That's one. Two, didn't she just move into a new place that she said she couldn't have pets at? Three, didn't this puppy just come into this world like 2-3 weeks ago? You need to wait at least 6 to 8 weeks before you wean them from their mother. I hope this is just her showing us the puppy she's picked, and she's going to have to go back and pick the puppy up when it's ready. These animals up there, people are saying they wouldn't have survived this. That. Let me tell y'all something. Them animals is healthy. I've dealt with dogs my whole life. Them dogs did not look unhealthy. And they're borderline wild. So survival skills are at the highest for them. There's no, and any vet's going to tell them, there's no reason that this dog should have been taken away from its mother if it's before 6 weeks. Your chances of something happening to this dog are now greatly increased. It's immunities, natural immunities. That's why they nurse, they drink. You'll have to bottle feed and do so much for this puppy at this age. It's crazy. And yes, here's an argument. Summer would be happy that her puppy has a loving home. Abso-freaking-lutely. And I'm not saying that Ziggy's a bad person. I'm saying that she probably has not raised a lot of dogs. She's not bred dogs. And maybe she just doesn't know any better at all. That's what I'm saying. I don't think she does. But other people should have warned her. Other people should know better. People that have had multiple dogs and multiple litters of dogs should know better. And should know that it's not safe. It's not a practice that's common. And it's not good for the puppy or for the mother. A lot of mothers, when their puppies are taken early like that, grieve. Like they died. And they look for them and grieve. I've watched animals grieve themselves to death in a situation like that. It's just, I don't understand what the thought process was at all. And then, I know y'all are going to tell me, Ziggy's not true crime. She's karma. Okay, cool. I can get down with that. I respect that. Not talking about her. Don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is, this is an ongoing, open criminal investigation. We are YouTubers. We can be journalists. We can be investigative reporters. We can be entertainment reporters. We can be bedroom reporters, whatever. What we should not be is inserting ourselves directly into this case. Not one of us that are out here as a YouTuber should be privately conversating with any persons of interest in this case. I'm telling y'all, when it comes court time, people are going to wish they'd listen to that, because they're going to be subpoena after subpoena after subpoena after subpoena. Some people realize that and are going in it eyes wide open. Hopefully, the people that are conversating with the persons of interest in this case are also conversating with TBI and getting advice from them on how to proceed. That would be your smartest, best bet, personally. And I do want to state also that anyone that is telling Dawn and Candace not to get a lawyer it does not have their best interest at heart. Hell, I'm not telling you I got their best interest at heart. I'm not trying to do nothing to hurt them. I don't think they're the greatest citizens that ever walked earth. I also cannot say 100% that they did something to their child, or that they facilitated something happening to their child. I don't know. I honest to God don't know. I have a lot of questions. A lot of shit looks sketchy. A lot of shit looks like, at the very least, that they were very non-active. They were not proactive parents, no matter how you slice it. Candace was not a helicopter mama. I don't give a shit what y'all say about pictures or nothing else. She was not one to hover. Dawn wasn't one to hover either. And I don't know if y'all caught this, but where Allie and them was being interviewed before H came in, they didn't even know who the hell Dawn was. As far as we know, he seems pretty good. He's a good person, good people, blah, blah, blah. You could tell by their reactions to those questions about Dawn that they really didn't know Dawn. Their interactions were with Candace and the children. They weren't with Dawn. But I still think, how many of y'all noticed that the boy H, two things I want to address. One, he said that Josie and Waylon, I believe, were gone to work with Don. I know he only called 2 boys names, and he said the 2 boys. Where was the 3rd boy? Where was the youngest child? Wyatt, is that his name? Where was he? The one that looks a lot like Summer. That if his eyes are closed and he's dressed in an outfit and pictures are getting took, you couldn't tell if they're a different color. That if the video that's took and posted on TikTok was took on a different day or was a different child, you couldn't tell. Or the fact that the video is in black and white of that Sephora looking stuff, you also can't tell what color somebody's eyes are. Just saying. But it was very obvious that those women at that table, they didn't know Don well. When they were around, Don wasn't around. That's what that told me. That's what their answers, attitudes, and responses told me. They wasn't around. And H's dad, the interview he gave, he paints himself to be just an upstanding guy. But dude, you got some connections. You and your baby mama got some connections to some very sketchy people. And they all tagged from New York City. And that crap you said about Jose don't make no sense. Your brother's got his number and they talk regular. But you don't have a way to contact him. Okay? And then when you're pressed about your brother contacting him, well, he can only call about once a month. He's in the Philippines with his girlfriend and her rich daddy. Do y'all really buy that story and his story? Because I think H is somewhere in protective custody. And maybe it's true. Maybe it doesn't have anything to do with this case. But whoa, if it ain't convenient. If it ain't convenient. That all of a sudden after the police questions him 3 or 4 times. And Chris questions him 3 or 4 times. And when H's dad sent people with a judge-signed court order to pick him up, he wasn't allowed to leave and had to be there. But grandma and the vehicle that Summer was allegedly last in are allowed to leave the state and be gone. Does anybody not see something there? I said this months ago, and I'm saying it again. Something is a little off in Whoville, in my opinion, there. And now, the boy that couldn't leave, wasn't allowed to leave at that time, is now MIA. Are y'all buying that? I'm not. There's a whole lot of stuff being kicked around when it comes to this case and said and done, that if people really believe it, please holler at me, because I got swampland in Florida that I can sell. Or actually, I got some swampland in Nebraska and Washington State to sell. Because if y'all buying that, y'all buy it. If y'all believe in some of this crud, y'all believe that. Times, dates, reasons, all that has changed. And if y'all really look at that thing that Doug posted, you're going to see that there's a conversation that was screenshotted on Facebook between Candace and H. And that conversation, to me, is very telling. Because number one, it's June the 4th, 11 days earlier. And what was Grandma doing at the hospital then? Because Candace says, and you can, I went back at the end of the video and pulled it up and stopped it. You can see the conversation. Candace says that she's got to pick Grandma up from the hospital. And then she asked, is his grandma there or did she stay with Allie? She says with Allie. And he's like, yup. Man, if y'all can't figure out why they getting up, why is a 15-year-old and her having that conversation and talking about hanging out and coming by to see and whether grandma's home or not, and mama's home or not? They doing something that they don't want mama and grandma to know. I mean, that's the only answer that makes sense right there. Come on, y'all. Let's be real. I'm not saying what, I mean, listen, maybe they just smoking vapes or drinking twisted tea, or maybe they playing Twister, but they're doing something that they did not want Grandma and Allie to know. And the one thing I think H's dad, well, two things I think he told the truth. I think H told him about the interview with Chris. Chris says specifically it was not pre-planned, that he just happened by. So where H is either Chris's line or H's dad's line, okay? Because H's dad says that H called him ahead of time and talked about what should I say and how should I say it, blah, blah, blah. He either had to make that phone call while Chris is sitting out there talking to Allie and the friend Leslie and Grandbun, or H's dad's a liar. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. It was stated that H was yawning a lot because he had stayed up all night the night before playing video games and I guess being on the internet or whatever. Some people didn't buy that. Let me say this. He's a teenager. School's not in session. He's 15, almost 16. He probably did stay up all night playing Fortnite or something. That's what they do. So I believe that. That part's believable. It makes sense. You know, between that and his medication for his ADHD makes sense. And by the way, to the other YouTuber out there that said he doesn't have ADHD and his mother said so, well, there's video proof that he himself said he had a specific type of ADHD. That he said it. Nobody else but the young man. But my question again is, in what world, as a parent, was it not questioned about him spending so much time with this woman? Or was it? And is that what the fallout and the argument really was? Or was there even really the argument between Allie and Candace that we think there is? If you guys have any answers to my list of questions, starting with my first question, which was why did they give the wrong picture, the one in the red dress? What's the date on the milk jugs? All those. Please answer those questions in the chat. And several of y'all contacted me about doing research. Anybody that can help me with this one, well, there's two names that I'm trying to find. One, I want a connection to the Wells families on. The other one, I just want to know who he is. Somebody tried to tell me he's a lawyer. He's not a lawyer. If you email me or Facebook message my personal Facebook account or text my phone, I can send you a picture with the name of the gentleman I'm trying to find more information on. I cannot go into the details of why yet. I'm not allowed. When I am, I will. So what are your thoughts and your opinions of the developments so far in this case? Please leave your thoughts in the comment section. I will be looking and responding. Peace, love, and light, and hopefully alive tomorrow. Don't forget, please hit that PayPal and that Cash App. It's been a long, hard month, and I have not been able to work now for almost 2 weeks due to weather and car repairs. So look out for the cookout. Peace, love, and light. Thank you, guys. All right, guys. That was the end of the video. So I'm going to sign off. And please make sure in the comments section if you can help me answer any of my questions that I've had since day one that haven't been answered in this case yet. I'm begging you guys, please put your answers in my comment section. Hopefully YouTube will not strike this. I did edit out. I don't know what it is that other creators can put the same content up as me and mine struck down. I don't understand that. Maybe Doug will email me back and I can find out what I did wrong. Literally, they sent me an email telling me it was, I'll just show you the email real quick. Trying to see if it'll let me open it in a separate window. Let's see. Yeah, that's not what I want to do. Okay. Okay, so nope, it's not going to let me. Let's see if that's... Nope, okay. I'm just going to show this to you guys real quick. Here is the YouTube email. Hi, Nita's World. We have viewed your content, determined it may not be suitable for viewers under the age of 18. Blah, blah, blah. And you see it summer. What's new to us? My day one questions and thoughts. We haven't applied a strike to your channel, and your content is still live for some users on YouTube. Age restricted. You can do next. I chose to not fight it and to just do the fastest, simplest fix available. So, again, in the comments section, you guys, please let me know if you have answers to any of my questions, especially what's the date on the milk jugs. Peace, love, and light.
Damn right I cheated. Couldn't get it from you when I needed it. Cause dealing with you, it ain't